I will probably not film much outside this week, but for today, what do you think of when I say fear? Something paralyzing, something to avoid? As a child into adulthood, I have always been so afraid of anything and everything. You could not talk to me, I would just hide in my own bubble. I'm not sure how I even got through school as far as I did. I don't even remember much of it, but I only have got a few memories here and there. I did my homework, usually months ahead of time, just to not have stress and allow me to spend my time hiding. Once me and my friend were sent out of the classroom to work in the hallway because we were too far ahead and distracting the classroom apparently. And when I got home I hid, and when I had to do something, I did it for as far as I could without talking, and then went back to hiding as quick as I could. And this went on in adolescence. I was once tested for autism, but the psychologist did not even know what to do with me or how to read me. So not much happened there. Life continued this way, and I grew up. I might have gotten a little better as a young adult, but I was still the scared child. When I, an adolescent on the MBO, the school system still confused me what to call it in English. On par with college, I think. When on the MBO, I was expected to have responsibility and find an internship and other adult things. This, of course, went completely wrong. I was not about to communicate or ask people things. I'm in a bubble. What do you expect me to do? My grades plummeted and teachers were still expecting me to adhere to a sliver of responsibility. And I did anything I could do to hide, to the point of staying away from one class entirely, which was led by a bit of an alpha male, and the stuff guy, nope. I stayed away, still mutely went to my other classes, until they told me it might be better if I quit. I just sat at home and did nothing, played World of Warcraft, of course to an extreme level, just became the richest person on the server, and did the quest for the in-game title The Insane, because what else do you do when you are at home with depression? My mother asked my brother to come and talk to me, and I ended up literally hiding behind my legs and visibly shaking. And my mom sought help and another autism test. Now I was diagnosed with autism, had someone to talk to every week, and paired with that came a lot of rest. I was allowed to have time to think and given space to grow. It was around this time that I met a person named Beep, or actually Bibish on Minecraft. I spoke to her a lot and we meowed at each other. And I asked for help and she did not run away, and that's a very important quality in a friendship, I would say. And we spoke about transgenderism and being a woman and all the things I had trouble with and how I kept hiding and things like that. And she knew nothing about this at all. Nevertheless, she wanted to help me. It was a very one-sided relationship, me needing help and her wanting to be there for this random person. And I can't thank her enough, and I finally started to grow, and I began figuring out what I wanted and who I was, and I came out as transgender and learned to talk to people. I had one goal, and that was to grow. And I made a vow to myself that I would grow every day. And there's only one way to do that, and that's to leave the bubble. The bubble was supposed to keep me safe, because fear is a very useful tool to survive, but that's all it is, because fear can be the worst thing there is when you need to grow. And there's only one way to grow, and that's to look fear in the eyes. As in my childhood, I never did that. I only hid, and every time I did that, the fear increased its foothold, and I never did anything besides that. It's not strange that I could not speak. So now I'm purposely doing scary things, and I set small challenges for myself every day to try to overcome them. You should not forcefully push yourself, you should just see how far you can go and then take that one little extra step. If you take too big of a step, you will only panic and you will not be able to learn. You will be in panic mode and your brain will not be able to process what's happening. You will just scare yourself and you want to stay within your window of tolerance, and I'll come back to that later. You need to find your challenges, things you can do, whatever it is. It's not stupid, it is yours and no one else's. In this video clip you're watching now, I'm doing a swing that I know I can do. I never did before, but I know I can. But I'm still hitting the ground with my foot. And I'm breaking up the swing in parts so I can do it piece by piece before I can do the whole thing. Someone else might think it's silly, but that's not the point because it's mine. It's my challenge and my next challenge might just be one step more impressive.
Over. Oh.
Awesome. You were surprised. You were so surprised.
In physical training, this might sound obvious, but it's the same for other things. If I was that kid who could not speak and you gave me a mic and told me to lead a presentation in front of a large group of people, I would just collapse. I would just collapse. And still, now I have the advantage of editing, but that kid could never have made this series. And I think that's the most important thing of everything I said in this video. You can't make a huge leap all at once. Sometimes you can. Most other times you would just fall down flat on your face. But if you build a staircase and take one little step at a time, you can reach higher than you ever expected. I never expected to be able to talk like this and undergo things outside. And still, I want to grow further. You can't just say, I will stop being afraid right now. But you can say, I would take one little step today, and you will see you have found a new height. You will also have relapses, and that's completely normal. It's never a straight line. But when you look back, you will see how much higher you are now. And sometimes a step is too big, but that's okay. You can always come back later. But don't push yourself too hard. Yes, you need to push yourself, but you can't push yourself over the edge. I can't tell you where that is, or how hard a push is too much. That's something only you will know. Last month I was thinking how much better I felt. I almost felt like I was cured. But then I had to buy new shoes, and buying things is still scary, and then there's money. I don't have a lot of it, and basic welfare. But I needed new shoes, but hey, I'm not scared anymore, right? I was walking through the city streets and I just froze. I was looking into the stores, but I just ran away and I had completely shut off. But I said to myself, if you don't do this now, the fear will get stronger again. I stepped into the store after first walking another circle through the city, and I looked around in confusion until after a bit an employee asked if I needed help. She explained how the shop worked and that if I asked for a shoe, they would find it in my size. But I only stammered out my words roughly explaining what I was looking for, and I felt such great disappointment. I was cured, right? I did not fear things anymore, and look at me now. Of course I knew I could not be cured. Being cured of fear is not a thing. You can't cure yourself of fear, but you can learn to live with it. And I succeeded in buying my shoes, but I was left with a lot of disappointment, seeing as I still had moments where I was falling back into panic. And I have to accept that I can't fall back in that feeling, and that I have to look back and see that I made so much progress even if I fell back that day. If I made a relapse into fear yesterday, I just need to look at last week and see I'm already so much more than I was. And I'm much stronger than I was before, and Look at that mute kid now, making videos encouraging people to overcome their fear. And that's what I want you to take away from this. Wherever you are, you will grow, you will become stronger, I can guarantee that. People I meet now are surprised when I tell them about my panic attacks. You are Silvana, you don't have fear, right? You're not afraid of anything. They know to me that it's pushing her fears to become better. So now I can gleefully stand on the edge of a building, waving at people, looking over the pretty city, before I sit down with a book, bare feet dangling. But that's just a matter of perspective, because that might not be scary to me, because I've worked myself out there and learned what I can physically do. That does not mean I have no fear, it means I managed to work with it. If I think back on my childhood, there is one thing that stands out to me: regret. Of all the things that I did not do, of all the potential growing that I ignored. But there's nothing I can do about that now. It is the past, and I cannot change that now. I can change the future. I can continue taking my steps. And that is what I will do. So now I want to ask you, where do you want to go next? And what is your step for today? You don't have to share it, you only need to share it with yourself, though the comment section is free. And I'll see you next week.
Shall I have a swim? Or not?